Once again, it's on.
Who's that peeping in my window? Blah.
Wow.
Yup.
We in here.
We are back.
Yeah. We're back once again, man.
Yep.
We are the Wash Guards. Wash never washed
Wash never washed up. I am Sean Luke Picard.
up. And I am Draft, man. We got a special episode for y'all. I'm not gonna number it because it's gonna come out when it
At
comes
some
out.
point in time.
Yeah, but we here with the homie Chop, man. Chop Ross.
Chop
How
Ross,
doing,
the
man?
DJ
Great.
extraordinaire,
Yes, sir.
fashionista,
Yes, sir.
Graphic extraordinaire.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
You know what I'm saying?
All that.
Man of many hats.
the
Many
shit
hats,
talker
many shoes.
aficionado.
Yeah.
Big feet, big steppers. We in the building. You know what I mean?
You know what it is. If you don't, you're going to get to know.
The festivali, man. You know what I'm saying?
A festivali is a bar.
Yeah, the one and only, man. But yeah, we're back once again. Oh, we usually do introductions. Ain't gonna do too much of that right now. I guess we can get into the meat and potatoes, man. Shit, how you want to start this? I guess we'll start it off, man, bro. Where you just talk it out? Where you from?
From Richmond, Virginia, South Side. Originally born in Atlanta, Georgia, but I was raised in Richmond, Virginia. I bounced around a little bit in my childhood, going from Atlanta to Virginia, from Virginia to New York, from New York to North Carolina, back to Virginia. So it's been a journey, but you know.
What part of New York was it?
When I first moved there, I lived in Long Island.
Oh,
In Westbury. Shout out Westbury. I went to Drexel Ave.
Your family.
Was down there
getting
going
money.
crazy. Hey man, we was trying.
It was out here on the dog side.
Yeah, a lot of broke niggas in Long Island.
it ain't. But it was crazy because like
niggas white, rich whites.
nah, I mean it was niggas. We lived with some Jamaicans at the time. Actually, we actually lived in the bottom part of their basement, or like the basement, and they lived up in the top half. So
Duplex energy.
yeah, I never actually seen like the landlords too much. Like we seen them a lot. I mean a little bit, but not a lot. You know. So I used to always be outside running around. I wasn't really looking for no adults. But yeah, that was my introduction to New York, and then I want to say we were there for a year. And then we moved to Brooklyn. We moved to Bushwick. So, we was big city stepping.
Shout out to my little one.
Brooklyn. Yeah, I wanted to say shout out to Brooklyn, man.
Yeah. But so you know, well, I ain't gonna skip ahead too much. So when did you finally land in Atlanta, like for good?
I came back to Atlanta for good in 2006, summer of 2006. Pretty much.
High school era?
Yeah, high school. I was actually in high school. I got kicked out of my home school. Shout out Huguenot High. And they sent me to an alternative school called CCP that was like in the middle of the projects in Jackson Ward in Richmond, Virginia. So, you know, being there, being in that element, man, you just got a lot more of what I was times 10. So just what I was like 10,000 more of them type of people there.
This nigga was a puppy,
Girls
went to
and
the pound.
boys. Hey, man.
Came out a big dog.
I don't fuck with y'all.
It was crazy though, because
know,
it was a lot of different parts of Virginia there, or Richmond. You know, you had South Side, North Side, East End, West End, and the Churchill guys, and you know, a lot of us are just in there really getting acclimated and familiar with each other, because you know, for the most part, we stayed on our sides of town. Like you might have had a cousin that lived on the other side of town, but everybody pretty much stayed where they was at. So this was the one place where every side of town was meeting, and it was sometimes it was beautiful and sometimes it was bullshit. But,
Powder
you know,
keg energy.
But
Yeah,
I guess
remember.
let's cycle it back a little bit. I'm glad you like dove into Richmond. So like, what is it like growing up to Richmond compared to Atlanta for you? What were like the biggest differences that you encountered when you first got to Atlanta?
I would say like growing up in Richmond, it was a lot different just because like how Atlanta has like a lot of embracing energies, like Richmond isn't like that. So the artists we have there, it's like niggas want to swap those artists out for somebody else. Like, damn, I wish Yo Gotti was from Richmond because we fuck with Yo Gotti. We don't want Pharrell. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy. I never heard that.
yeah, like it wasn't.
So
wasn't a lot of
no Clips energy type thing.
Nah,
like that.
people liked the Clips, but people respected their ability to rap. They didn't really so much like them per se.
Own them, like
right.
Yeah, like we
Like they
here.
did, but
like
you
they
know,
was a home team.
we from Richmond, Virginia. They from Newport News. Like that's like saying we from Atlanta and we repping a Savannah artist. You see what I'm saying? Like it's like that.
It's like that.
Yeah. Because they hours away from us. Like Richmond, Virginia, and Newport News is probably about an hour, 2 hours away, depending on how far out you going. So you know, it's like yo, y'all repping for Virginia, but as far as it being like us, we didn't really take it as that, and a lot of people didn't take it as that, to the point where, you know, they didn't even like Pharrell being the introducer of those guys like that. I just remember being in high school and was like, yo, the clip's hard, but they need to get the fuck away from Pharrell. And I was just like,
wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what was,
like
so culturally,
yeah, and that's a big thing in Richmond. Like the streets is really big in Richmond because
that's
Richmond
my next question. Culturally, what's it like?
Culturally is very street. It's like very Southern-esque. Like a lot of people like to mistake Virginia for being a part of the North, or, you know, going like East Coast. And I'm like, well, it depends on what part of Virginia you live in. If you live in North Virginia, yeah, because you closer to DC, you rock with them guys more. But if you in the South Side, and Richmond is really in the center going down, you more Southern. You know what I'm saying? That's talking about slang, language, everything is different. Yeah, so it's two different types of people in the state. So, you know, and no shit to those guys. Shout out Norfolk, shout out Newport News, shout out, you know what I'm saying, the whole NSU area, ODU, all them guys out there in college and shit like that. Like that's where we branched out to after we left the city, because it was like, you know, we had schools in the city like VCU, UVA, all of that shit, but, you know, people wanted to get away from the city of Richmond, so they went out to those places, and that's how, you know, everything started mixing up a little bit. That's how everybody got like that whole DMV energy going on, because we moved out of the city, so, you know, you had to get along with the people you were living around.
So that's sort of how you started to develop your own personal style or taste during that time period, because I think that's when most people start to develop their own preferences is in high school. So was it like during that time period where you were mixing with all these people from different sides of Richmond, or was it shortly after high school when you got to branch out and go to other parts of Virginia and see what the world was like outside of your little city?
I would say just branching out in different parts of Richmond, because like I said, I had lived in different places before I came back there for high school. So I had already lived in New York, I had already lived in Long Island, I lived in Brooklyn, I had lived in North Carolina and Charlotte, you know what I'm saying, like places like that. So I was pretty, you know, versed with dealing with different people, but just dealing with different, you know, that's when you outside the city. When you dealing with your own city, you got to learn how to deal and live with the people around you. So that was one of the things that helped me, was when I got kicked out of my home school and went to alternative school and started branching out that way. And just because even when I was in Richmond, I was a part of a collective called the Ratchet Clique. And at the time I wasn't a rapper or anything like that. I just had all the technology. Like I had a computer and a mic, so everybody would just come over my house and start producing and making music. And, you know, like I said, I was with the gang, so I was just with them. And that was what really gave me my break into dealing with music or being in music. It was like, okay, I like this shit, but, you know, I like being behind the scenes of it, not so much as being involved with it directly.
So let's cycle back to that Pharrell thing that you dropped. So at this time, like, you know, you're in school and you like, you know, I'm assuming you're a Clips fan. I was a Clips fan at the time.
Yeah, most definitely.
And people were saying like, yo, Pharrell, you know, they gotta get away from Pharrell. So like, as far as your taste in music is concerned, like, how did you feel at the time, and how did that affect like your taste, like when it came to like messing with other genres outside of like the normal thing? One thing I know about you is you spin a lot of different type of music, you know what I mean? Right. So how did that taste develop like from that point? Like, because a lot of people had that Nexus event where it's like, we've been saying that a lot. We had that event where it's like, you know, like I was a Dipset fan in Atlanta. So it's like, niggas like, what the fuck, Dipset, nigga?
How you find this?
Right. Yeah, so like, you know, when you're going through all those moments, what made you stick to your guns of like what you liked?
And how did it keep you from blending in with the crowd? Like, how did you stand out? In what ways did it make you different?
Personally, I would say like it was really just some neighborhood shit. Like, yo, if you can't beat my ass, you can't really influence what I do. You know, and I mean that in all forms of self-defense. Like, yo, people that can defend themselves can do more. So it's like, you know, somebody might not like what you're doing, but because they know you're going to throw with them, like, it's not like they going to run down on you or chastise you about what you're doing. They might be like, yo, that shit whack, or I don't fuck with that, but they going to, you know, it's kind of on the top.
You're willing to take an ass whooping.
Right.
I don't even know if I'm the best fighter, but I'm willing to take an ass whooping.
Nah, and I'm not going to, you know, like, nah, I get to it, but for the most part, it was just that it's like people don't want to challenge things that they know is a challenge to them. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like free picking. Yeah, they don't want to push back. Like, but I always rock with Pharrell. I remember like being younger and singing like lap dance when I want to say I was like in 6th grade. And my sister was like, my sister was also like a very big influence in music at the time, and my mom was too.
I remember seeing that shit, be like, who the fuck is this nigga, bro?
Nah, and I used to sing both parts. Like I'd sing his side, and then I'd sing the girl's side, and she'd be like, "Nigga, that's gay."
First time I seen Pharrell, I had my dick out. No homo.
What?
Word?
BET Uncut, man.
Oh, okay.
Lap dance.
You was ready. You was getting ready. You was like, look, I don't know what this is, but I'm waiting for the next one, nigga. Tip drill.
This nigga has a running theme. That's 2 pods in a row.
We going.
Yeah, that was a hell of a back-to-back, dog.
I mean,
Man,
even
shout out Uncut. BT Uncut had some jams, bro.
yeah, I mean,
What
even if
that
you
thing
seen
smell
Still
like?
Tipping, there was a lot of girls that had ass in that video,
Oh, yeah,
man.
for sure.
So,
Yeah, the Still Tipping Uncut
yeah, that
version.
was dope. And and while we talking about that, I would say BET Uncut was actually like what put me on like Texas music outside of what I already knew. Like that was like my first push of like Texas music. And if y'all can remember back around that time,
What
like
that thing smell
05
like?
or 06 was when that shit first started bubbling for Texas. So
White
you
girls,
had,
don't
you
tell me
had
this
Bun
is
B,
fair.
all them guys, like, and then you ended up having
Seeing them, all
Mike
them-
Jones and Chameleon there. So that was when the wave came, and when you seen all
Even
that, it
seeing
was
those
like,
type of videos was new. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
'cause it's
slabs everywhere,
like
motherfuckers
real
riding.
grimy ass videos where it's
Shit
not
where it's
100.
just ass shaking.
Yeah, ain't
Right,
nothing
but
about
still
it was a wave.
flossy. It was a little. It was a
Yeah.
step up from like the New Orleans grimy. Like it was like Houston.
Niggas
grimy.
wasn't
Like,
this
it was
way.
different. Yeah.
Wasn't as humid.
Yeah, they didn't have projects. They just had hoods. It's a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, like, and that's like how I grew up. Like we had projects, nigga. We ain't just had like, oh, this street is a bad street. Like you had that, but we had it all. Like we had projects, we had that too. So Richmond is really like condensed. So you talking about every side of the city only being 20 minutes away.
All right, so let's fast forward a little bit. Leaving Richmond when you were here in Atlanta, like I remember you being a very like a free spirit, but very, as you described, like you can't beat my ass type of energy. And there was a lot of things going on in the city around the time like we met, which might have been like 08, 09, going into 2010, which is when I think everybody kind of clicked up and started their own little movements. But how did you figure out that you wanted to break into the creative scene here in Atlanta?
I would say that was kind of due to me already being somewhat involved in music. But at the time when I first came to Atlanta, I was living in Conyers, so I was out there in Rockdale for about a year. And I just really couldn't get with them niggas' energy. Like that just wasn't my type of shit. You know what I'm saying? No slack to them guys, they're good people, but again, it's just not my type of energy. So I was just always looking for an outlook to be where I didn't have to, fuck with them people because, I went to school with them, but then like I said, that wasn't my shit. So I just kept doing what I was doing, reading magazines, and I would just find places that supported my habits. Like if I wanted a Complex magazine, hell, I'd run downtown, find a store that was selling it and hang out there a little bit. I knew I liked fitteds. I'd run down to the New Era store, check out some of their shit, and I ended up actually speaking to a couple people. Taji was one of the first people I ever met when I first came to Atlanta and started hanging around downtown. Yeah, I was actually going to a dunk exchange, one of the first dunk exchanges that they had at the loft at the time. And
I remember that
didn't know
dunk
exactly
exchange.
how
They
to
had
get
the
there.
gates. They had the gates all up.
Yeah, and then they gave away like the Black Friday Air Force Ones with the black pony hair on them and shit. But on the way there, like I stopped by the New Era store and I was like, damn. Yo, y'all know how to get to this street? And then Taji was the person who actually gave me directions. So it was like, okay. At the time, he didn't know me either, but it was just like he was the first person in there. And he told me, and I just dipped. But I came back frequently to the point where I got familiar with Fonz and everybody like that because they'd always see like me in sneakers and be like, damn, bro, you got the pack or you got this, you got that? I'm like, hell yeah, just down here looking for some shit to go with it, whoop, whoop, whoop. So, it's just my continuing to be who I was and just keep pressing that shit forward no matter where I was going that actually led me into breaking into the creative scene. I didn't know it at the time, but I had camped out for a pair of Yeezys. Like you said, we met around that time. And I met a guy by the name of Mo, and I think like now he's doing like a lot of contemporary art. His brand name is Rami, and I want to say that's his last name if I'm not mistaken, but you can check him out on Instagram and on Twitter. But and now he's doing like these dip painted basketballs that are just like just amazing, man. It definitely looks like something you would see in the High Art Museum or, you know, a contemporary museum anywhere in the world. But yeah, me and him actually started talking, and he told me he had a blog, and I was like, okay, I checked it out. And when I saw it, I was like, damn, bro, I want to have a blog too. Like, I got a lot of shit to say too. I do a lot. Like, yo, I feel like I could be in this lane. And he showed me how to set it up, and that was kind of what made me take off after that point. So shout out to Mo, man.
So you brought up blogs, so let's get into Deeper Than Dope. I think that's around like the point I kind of met you. You was kind of doing that thing.
Right.
Let's talk about how that got started. You know what I'm saying? Like, what made you get into that? I mean, we already know what made you get into it, I guess, because you were already blogging at the time. But
Right.
what made you take the step forward to, like, create a collective in Atlanta?
That happened on behalf of, again, like the Yeezy camp out. I met a lot of people when I ran down there, so a lot of that same energy, and we ended up living on the same side of town, so I might be out. And I remember, like, one day I was in school. I had just went for my first semester at Georgia Perimeter College in Clarkston, and I just happened to see Jawara down there one day just randomly, and I was like,
Shout
oh,
out
shit.
Jawara.
Shout out War from the neighborhood.
Shout out War.
New single out, all that. Go play that, you know what I mean? The
I think
motion.
he on Grip album, too. Shout out Grip.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out Grip.
Shout out Grip.
Eastside.
You heard? But yeah, I ran into him at school, and we just, you know, built on the connection that we started at the Yeezy line, and we just got cool. And I found out, you know, that he had a blog, and he seen that I was blogging, and he liked the way that I was running my shit. So he was just like, yo, man, we always have space and room for more writers. And he was like, and then you be on your shit, so, you know, come fuck with us. And I was like, okay, well, you know, normally I'm one of them guys that I like to run my own train. I like to run my own show. But I was like, you know, it's always good to have help or be a part of a collective that can expand me. So I was just like, all right, cool. You know, some young black niggas doing the same shit I'm doing. Let's get it.
Yeah,
And that was how it popped off.
Deeper Than Dope was one of those blogs that I think goes unsaid as far as Atlanta street culture was concerned during that time period. Because y'all was out. I remember around the time we were doing Atlanta Got Soul, and truth be told, I was kind of mad because we had the same conversation.
Yeah.
Like about, like, yo, we're about to start a blog. We would really like to have you be a part, even if it's just contributing.
Y'all came after them though. Y'all came. I want to say like a month or two after they had already hollered at me. You know what I'm saying?
Because I remember them pushing Deeper Than Dope when we were already just like, we were doing our own separate thing, and we were kind of having the conversation of entertaining the idea of doing. This is gonna be a washed reference, but
It's history.
what do you call that shit, bro? It's a thread, but it's a message board. We're gonna do a message board for everybody who was in the sneaker community in Atlanta.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Forum.
Because I've
There
never
we
been
go.
a message
Like Nike
board
Talk.
ever. Yeah.
Right.
And we were really only doing it just so we could link up, so it could be an easy way for us to have kind of like a group text type energy,
Right.
so that way we could show up for certain releases. But I was already doing a blog the same way you were already doing a blog, the same way War and Spence were already doing a blog, and we were just like, bruh, we need to do something bigger. Like, it's got to be more. It's got to be a wider net
Shout out
cast.
Spence, man. I didn't even know he was a part of Deeper Than
Spence was
Dope.
one of the original
Yeah.
members.
I just saw him at,
Spence, War, Rashad, Chop.
He pulled up to the Vince.
Yeah, Vince
joint.
Papa. I
Yeah.
actually pulled him out the crib. I was like, yo, man, I'm having an event with my dogs. It's family. Come
Yeah,
through.
man.
It's good to see him, man.
It's been
Always.
a lot of those relationships have been 10 plus years in the making. But
Yep.
during that time period, Deeper Than Dope was at the same events. I remember the Currency event. I was out there doing interviews. There were a lot of
Kennedy at Spring and Forth.
Dom Kennedy, Quad,
The Big Sean Show.
a lot of those little parties that niggas used to throw over there
Whitehall.
in Whitehall.
Yeah, loft
Yep.
parties.
So it was a lot of things that I think were covered that, and I won't say lost necessarily, because a lot of those people are still doing different things. Wara do music. Spence has been doing his shit as far as the sneaker game is concerned and collectibles. I know it's been a long time since people have necessarily gotten familiar with the content, but how do you feel like that time period shaped the things that you do now?
Just it was more direction to where I was going. If not, you know, being dropped directly off where I wanted to be, it was still like the trail and the passage where a lot of these pieces that I am with now, musically, stylistically, all of those things, like that was where I made my ground in that, or that was where, you know, I started developing that, because it was like, okay, when you first came in, you know, you wanted to be a part of something like this, and now you're a part of it. How do you advance yourself, you know? And just being around those people and that like energy, man, it just pushed me to get deeper and more into things, being a part of the blog, Atlanta Got Soul and Deeper Than Dope. It just helped me research more because I was posting, I was a writer, so it was just like, okay, I'm looking into more things, and as I kept looking and learning, it just made me go deeper and deeper. So it definitely catapulted me into the lane where I'm at now as far as dealing with music, graphic design, just being an overall pop culture encyclopedia, you know, man. You know, just being that involved with everything.
Talk about it.
On, you know, cause
Job Ross.
yeah. Yeah. Like that.
But all right, so how important was evolution for you going through the motions of figuring out your way in the Atlanta scene or just in the creative scene in general? Because you've worn a lot of hats.
Evolving has definitely helped me in ways that I still can't see right now. They've just been. It's just been a process, man. Like coming in and, like I said, being a part of a rap collective when I was like 15 and not knowing really too much of how to project that or do that, and then getting into the point where I see everybody else doing something like that. You know, hell, you get to a point where you want to be more hands-on with what you create. You know what I'm saying? And as I kept continuing to grow and be more hands-on, it was just like, okay, I can watch all these people around me move and watch how they do their things, and at a point take pieces from everybody that I'm learning from and make it a part of my character or what I'm building. And a lot of that came from the graphic designers that I was around. Shout out Grayson, shout out Nikki. You know, a lot of those people that were pushing me to be more outstanding. Like I said, even looking at somebody like Virgil, where he has so much control over every little thing that he does, you know, down to the sketching, to the actual design of the shoe or the clothes. It was just like, okay, this is how you become one of those people. You have to be very hands-on. You have to develop new skills. You have to, you know, do your homework. And being around all of this, the Atlanta scene, there was a lot of people, like you said, I wore a lot of hats, but there were a lot of people who also wore a lot of hats, and you get to see them move and maneuver, and you get to either learn from their failures or learn from their success. So I just always had my eyes open, my ears open, just watching everybody and just making sure, you know, as I progressed, that I could be more like a one-man army type of thing, or, you know, a human Swiss Army knife type shit. Like whatever you need done, I can get that shit done, you know, from a DJ to a model to a designer, and then and encompass all of that and sell it as a package if need be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one of the things that goes unsaid as well in Atlanta is how open a lot of people, once you get the trust of a certain group of people in an environment, they'll give you the keys to figure out how to do certain things if that's your real passion.
Right.
Showing a genuine interest goes a long way when it comes down to trying to figure out where you want to go or who's going to help you in that process.
Also acting on that interest.
Yeah, very much so.
You know what I mean?
And
Don't
I'm
just
very
show it.
hands-on. I jump
That's
straight
the problem
into
with
it,
niggas.
whether that's work, you know, anything. Like I'm always like, yo, don't. Yeah, after you've shown me, don't keep telling me move and let me do it. You know, and if I fuck up a couple times, that's cool. But at least let me get my hands on it.
No,
You know
I
what mean?
respect the people that's willing to jump out there and fuck up, because that's what it's about. Like, you know,
Right.
being too
Right.
safe, you ain't gonna get shit done. But
Nah,
you said the
nothing grows in the
buzzword,
comfort
man.
zone, man.
Yeah, exactly. You said the buzzword though, DJing. So I was trying to like wait on that, but I guess we can kind of tiptoe into it. So what was like to be like? What's the idea behind DJing for you? Like, how did you get into it? You know, like what was like the Nexus event? That's gonna be the name of this pod. What was your Nexus event for DJing? Like, what was like that moment where you're just like, you know, the SpongeBob meme where it's like, oh, everything's happening around you. Like, what made you like, yo, I gotta do this?
I would say again, like just being around music a lot, moving to Atlanta just puts you in a musical zone. You know what I mean? Everybody's doing music in some way, in some shape or form or fashion. I would
Everybody
say,
got
like,
their hands on it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, going to live shows, seeing people do great, seeing people fuck up, just seeing everything, like I said, the success and the failure. But also being, like I said, being around collectives that we were close to, you guys, civil rights, 2-9 movement, you know, the ASAP movement, all of that shit, like it influenced, you know, everybody to want to somewhat be active in some type of collective or get their work out there. So, you know, you seen all these people moving, it was like, okay, well, what are you gonna do? And because I love music just genuinely without having to have my hands in it, being able to have my hands in it and influence people or, you know, make people go crazy. I remember going to parties where they be raves or just regular parties, and when that song dropped, you know what I'm saying, you see that energy on people, and I was like, yo, I had the ability to do that because I know music really well.
Nigga Chop, before he ever got in the DJ booth, nigga Chop was one of the best the best in the mosh pit, nigga. It's plenty of pictures, and plenty of parties.
The rager on my hand is real, man.
That's
It ain't for show, man. I really get in there and do business.
But I want to say on the DJing thing, but so like one thing I say about you is like you're one of like the few DJs that I say didn't grow up in necessarily the era of my DJing where it's vinyl scratching, but you still know how to scratch. So what made you like pay attention to the idea of like technical like old school DJing, if you will, like what made you
just because those
you don't
guys
necessarily have to do that.
Those guys they made the format, you know what I mean? I feel like even though you may never do, old school set or anything like that, I feel like having the talent betters you for what you may become, in the future. So you need to go back and learn. It's like martial arts. Like you got to learn those dojo skills for you to advance and make your own skills. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to learn the basics. It's like Kill Bill where he had Shorty punching the wall, you know what I'm saying, over and over and over, like to the point where, she didn't know when she was ever going to have to use that. But when the time came and she got in that box, like it was like, So you don't know when scratching is going to go off. You might get a party, somebody might book you for a wedding and they really like old school music and you get in there and do your thing and now you just won somebody over because you took the time to learn the techniques of your craft, you know what I mean? So, and just being a child growing up hearing songs like, what was that? I Do It For Hip Hop by like Ludacris, and you hearing like, you know what I'm saying? Premier scratch on there. It's very like, but the technique of how he's talking about it in the song, how he's talking about it. I mean, shit, that's that's what makes you like, okay, this guy's a real DJ. Like he's not just playing songs.
One of the lost songs that Hove and Nas are on it that nobody talks about.
Yeah, crazy. And Nas. Like
that's crazy.
Like that was a big song for Ludacris. If you look
nobody
at
talks
like
about it for a reason.
But nah, just shit like that, or even like what was the joint, the Air Force One anniversary song where they had like DJ
Classics.
Premier,
Oh,
shit like
shit
that.
was
Like
hard, bro.
scratching always sounded fresh to me. So I even though I'm what would be considered like a new era DJ because of the music I push and I listen to, I still go back and listen to the old shit and I still be like, damn, bro, they was cutting up on that bitch. Like I wanna learn how to do that. Or even then, just present current day, looking at like A-Track be going crazy cutting. So it's like you see the interest and you think about it from
scratches are like the layup of DJing, bro. Like
A-Track won hella competition.
It's good to have in your bag, and if you can go,
I think it's a little more technical. I would call it like a pro hop.
Okay. Right.
I call it a
Euro
pro
step?
hop. Yeah, Euro step. Like because it takes a little bit more skill to do a
That's a layup,
pro
bro.
hop. Yeah, but it's a technical layup.
I was gonna say
It's a technical layup.
Because I
there are
can lay
levels
up,
and errors.
but I can't really. I ain't never really pulled off a
The way
Euro step in the game.
And have your steps
to-
right. Like having your
By
scratching
saying-
right is a little bit different. Like I think a layup is transitions. Like that should be the
that's
easiest
easy.
thing to
Yeah.
That transitioning from a record
No,
to a record
I'm not
should be
trying
the
to
easiest
downplay
thing.
the
No. It's all good, bro.
the importance
It's a
of
learning
scratching it all.
experience.
Right.
Yeah. I think
As a non-DJ nigga, I mean, I'm open to learning all the.
And the reason why I would say that also is because transitioning is something you have to learn how to do. Some people aren't good at it, but you have to learn how to do it. That's a layup. Scratching is technique. You don't got to do it. A lot of people don't care if you do it or not. I mean, but if you do it, it probably can help you at certain points. You just scratch a record in at the right time. It's like a pro hop. You know what I'm saying? A Euro step is that technical. It just make your layup easier. You see what I'm saying,
man?
Like,
We learning things.
Hey, man, I know how to bring it together.
Name.
Chopping it up with Chop Ross.
Euro stepping with Chop Ross. On that note, man, we'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It feel like summer. I don't know. Just giving y'all random. So shit. It do feel like summer though. But yeah.
You figured
man.
you would have practiced
It
this
is
shit before
something.
we came back. All right, when I go back in there, this time I'm gonna say something on topic.
It's on topic for me. Like that's
Yeah, you
so
got it,
crazy,
bro. Yeah. All right, but yeah, we're here again. We're sitting down with Chop, the one and only Chop Ross, DJ, designer.
But yeah, man, I think we kind of skipped over AGS, so I kind of want to double back to that. So like when I first met you, Chop, like y'all kind of were already affiliated. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about how y'all like what was the beginnings of AGS? How did that start?
Yeezy line. All of the things that we kind of got involved in together came to fruition during those 3 campouts in 2009. Everybody from myself, Chop, Madison, Vince, shout out TC, Christina, of course. We all kind of linked up at a point in time when we were doing our own thing separately, and buying shoes was just kind of our pastime. So me and Chop got cool. Really, the background is that like we was pressing Chop. Chop showed up on the 3rd line after we had already kind of been through the first 2 campouts, and did the same shit I did for real. It was like, bro, I only see 10 people out here. It's 25 pair. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. He was like, all right, nigga. We'll see, bro. And he was like, well, nobody gonna make me move. And we kind of looked at him like, nigga, how old are you, bro? Because Chop ain't had no facial hair. This nigga had the goddamn Kodak Black Bantu knots. And we was just looking at this nigga out there by himself in the beach chair like, yo, whose mans is this? And I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, I'm like 16. I was like, nigga, you 16 out here by yourself? Nigga, what the fuck?
I was 19.
Oh, 19. But at the time, it could have been anything.
19 was 16.
Yeah, 19
then.
was 16 back
Back
then.
in my day,
He's 16 years old and
he's only 16.
But well, he just built respect based off being able to stand out there on his own. So like as other releases came out, time passed, we would link up in like at events, and we just started chopping it up. And I found out, pun intended, and then I found out he lived down the street from me, so we saw each other all the time. And as Atlanta Got Soul started to grow, of course he was doing Deeper Than Dope. We would see each other in the same places, different concerts and events. And eventually Deeper Than Dope started to dial back on the actual visual multimedia content, and we started to ramp up. So by the time we were doing events like Dunk Exchange or Sneaker Friends, we started pulling Chop in just because he was always there anyway. And it was family shit. Like we would go through different evolutions of just life. Like Chop would fall off the face of the map for a few months, and I'd call and check up on him, or his family would hit me and tell me about what Chop had going on. And by the time he got back into the natural stream of things, like it was like, bruh, just let's link up, bruh. Like let's communicate so that way we can make sure that everybody's straight. And it's kind of been, everything has sort of been an evolution of that, whether or not it's been DJing or it's been us doing music or it's been the blog. Like it's been an evolution of just like, yo, I fuck with what you doing, so like make sure you stay in the collective.
So I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you good.
Yeah. Oh, like I want to get your perspective. So like, Chop, when let's say I guess AGS kind of approaches you, where are you thinking at the time? What are you going through? Like, where are you at with it?
I'm gonna say the time that they actually approached me to deal with like the blogging side of things. So like he said, we were already hanging out and clicked up at sneaker campouts and all of that shit. But when they actually approached me to blog was about, I want to say 2010. I was in my freshman year of college, and I was just hungry. So I was just like, yo, I mean, y'all getting workout, bro. They came and hit me on some death row shit. Like, hey man, you want to do this? You want to do that, man? You want this, man? Come to AGS. And I was just like, let me see, like man. Let me see, man. Because at the time, I was all about
the Wara dancing in your video. Shout out Wara, man.
Yeah. All love. But nah, It was a thing for me just because I had already got down with somebody and I didn't want to step on no toes. But I was like, I rock with these niggas, not just only in the blogging section, but we go to parties together all the time. We are everywhere together. Like we mobbed up, we everywhere together. So I felt the way about it. But I was like, at the time it was actually an actual incident that made me make that decision. Like I think we were doing like a post or whatever.
Nexus event.
because I'm so adamant about like my creative control and what I bring to the table and what I have over like one time, like one of the blog posts I did, somebody went back on it and edited it from Deeper Than Dope, and I just lost my shit. I was just like, nah, I don't like that, because I mean, like, we all got each other's numbers. Like if something I did was incorrect or you felt like it needed to be touched up, holla at me. Don't just go back and like, you know, paraphrase my shit. Like that's not how that goes. You know what I mean? As a writer. And just at that time, because I was disgruntled, I was kind of just like, no, I'm gonna just do my own thing again. Like I didn't come on a team to be, you know what I'm saying, like circumcised or, you know, pushed down and shit. Like and Atlanta Got Soul kind of slid in and was just like, hey man, you know what? Fuck Amber Rose. We Kim K, bro. Like, we giving you everything you need and more. Let's go.
Level up, man.
Yeah, it was just like
Welcome
I'm
to the
just like,
family.
all right, fuck, say no more, you know. So it just went from there, and me doing posts every day, like, and I just remember like Madison always being like, yo, be hungry, do your thing, and we gonna look out for you. And I was like, all right, cool, man. You know, I love doing this shit anyway. I'm everywhere anyway, so I might as well, you know, use that to further what we got going on. And just like he said, between going to events, sneaker friends, sneaker pimps, dunk exchange, all of that shit, like, you know, I was there all the time, and it just made it easier for me to be comfortable in my setting. So when they set me up to do blog posts, it went from there to doing interviews, and, you know, it just funneled out into me just having like a whole movement going for myself. So I appreciate that from both camps. You know what I mean?
Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, I think it was at the root of it, it was like a real relationship. Because outside of the work, I think a lot of niggas look at the things that groups in Atlanta do or collectives do, and they're just like, oh, these niggas had a great idea, so they just decided to merge their ideas, and now they got some shit going. And like, it's never really like that with the things that we do, from the podcast to the music shit to Atlanta Got Soul. Like, all that shit is built off real experiences that happen outside of whatever business we had. So like, me and Chop was just hanging out. Like we would link up and go get food. We would go to parties and shit, beer and tacos on Thursday nights, and you know what I'm saying, fight and shit. Go home, talk about how we don't fuck with these niggas, and the next week go out looking for them, like wild shit that nobody ever really knows the background behind. Right. And then having the work was just kind of the hiatus from us just being like regular niggas. So I think a lot of the lost in the sauce ingredient is the fact that you really got to build the time. You got to put the time in and really care about the people you fuck with in order to have longevity when it comes down to these creative endeavors. And I think that's where Atlanta Got Soul sort of spurred on a lot of our creative pursuits after that, whether it be the music, whether it be Chop DJing, or like the modeling and shit that he's done. Like, those relationships were opened up by us having genuine relationships, not just with each other, but with the people who are also in the collective scene observing us do our thing. But yeah, man, that was a time. I do think that it did spur on a lot of our fashion taste. I wanted to talk to you about some of the modeling posts that you've done. Like, quiet as it's kept, I think Chop has popped up on like more websites here in Atlanta than a lot of you niggas who try. Chop has been on Wish's blog site by accident, a bunch of others. So how did you feel like being one of those DJs that's not only known just for your music, but also for the looks and the actual taste that you have in clothing and fashion in general?
I felt like it was always a targeted audience, like, because I've always been into, like I said, I came on the sneaker scene, but, you know, not to be funny, a lot of sneakerheads don't really dress nice. Like, they just have nice shoes, but they don't put pieces together well, and if they do, it's like very like typical. I think once I got out of the box of stylistically like looking at shit typically, it pushed me to a level where I was like, okay, well, I know I look nice, so not only do I DJ and my music selections are nice, but I feel like every selection, I'm just a prime selector, whether that be from pieces to music to anything. And I just wanted to, you know, conjoin those worlds, because you always get to see, like, you know, just the press run for people when they have something going. Like back in the day when you see like a Wale, you see him in an LRG ad or something like that. Like I always had like that idea in my mind, like, yo,
being more hands-on in general.
Right. I'm one of those dudes that, yo, you can come to and get a playlist from. You come through and get an outfit idea from. Like I felt that way about myself, and that just, you know, projecting that even through my friends and some of the people that I hung out with that were photographers, they saw the same thing. So they were just like, yo, let's go do a photo shoot, or let's go do a whole bunch of shit, and let's put together a lookbook, and let's put you up there. And I was like, all right, I was always for it. So, you know, no matter what I had to do to get that done, I was into it because I knew that one day it was gonna funnel back to me in a positive way. And like I said, because people did do things like I might be out at a party and somebody might DM me the next day like, "Yo, where'd you get these shoes or where'd you get these pants?" I was like, okay, well I got some motion and truly my taste. Yeah, I have taste. So why not before, and I wouldn't say it was before that, but it was on the opposite side of trying to be like an internet influencer. I was really putting the footwork and the grounding into being a influencer in my city, so that when people saw me, they understood, what I was working on, what I was working towards, type of things like that. And I mean, like even then, just going out and actually doing the whole full modeling thing where I'm going out doing my portfolio work and all of that. Like I really put work into it the same way I did my DJ shit. So I didn't want people to think I slid into modeling on some, oh, he cool, so he just got in there. Like, nah, I really went out here, shaved my head, bald, nigga went and ran to the joint and did the whole portfolio work. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah. I made sure, like I said, as far as learning techniques from DJing that maybe nobody would think is important now, I did the same thing in every other field that I stepped in. I did the work. So
was that one of the major motivating forces in you developing your own brand and attaching it to your DJing persona? Because we've seen the pink wave tees, we've seen the branding from the colorways to the cards. All of that became something that is almost as big as the persona you have as a DJ. So what was the Nexus event that made you realize, oh, I got to do apparel along with this?
I want to say that was just for me another part of me going out, being a part of festivals, music, South by Southwest, Flognog, all of that shit like that. Like you see somebody give you their musical essence, but in the same time give you their physical essence as well. And it's like, okay, how do I capitalize on that? How do I push down on that? And I've always had an allure for, purple, and I just meshed it up with the pink, and again, it was just for my purple people, if you was out there rocking with that shit, or, because to me it was a color that was more so an accent color. Like, people might have rocked with it, but wasn't nobody doing the whole thing, because to me personally, beforehand, a lot of people didn't know how to do it that way. The only person you seen rocking purple that much was motherfucking Prince, you know what I'm saying? And then after him was Cameron. That's 3 people in history that really pushed on that color, you know what I'm saying, inside of myself. So I was just like, how do I do this? And after a while, like I said, seeing somebody like Tyler, the Creator, or all of these other guys like push their merch on people in a certain type of way, I was just like, okay, well, I can do that too, you know what I'm saying? Seeing Ye do his thing with his tones and his colors that are, you know what I'm saying, exclusive to him, so to speak. Like, it was something that I wanted to do as well. Like, a lot of men or a lot of people wouldn't put this color on, but I'm gonna make this shit so fly that you gonna want to, you know what I'm saying? And that was just a part of my essence. And like I said initially, the influence or the eye behind it was like me looking at Cameron. Like, Cameron came out and him being one of my favorite rappers. 2 of the most important colors that he was known to push was purple and pink. Pink when he had the Laffy Taffy, Range Rover, and then purple when he had the Purple Haze album. And he just had a whole purple outfit. You know what I'm saying? So it was like he played in between these. Not completely. Like, it wasn't known to him as a career thing, but he did it. And it was like, okay,
for sure. It's kind of one of those like marks in his career that everybody knows about. Right. Like, if you're a Cameron fan, then you know about that. If you're a fucking Prince fan, then you know about the colors. Like, I remember when he passed, I think they lit up. Yeah, like every major city in America and even in the country was just, not even in the country, like everywhere. Yeah, like was purple. The Eiffel Tower was purple. I want to say the Pentagon was purple. It was just like everything, you know what I mean? And I feel like when I started pushing my own shit, out of seeing like, a lot of streetwear influencers that I've been around, whether it be somebody like, Nigo or Yoji Yamamoto or motherfucking Takashi, like all of those guys, they have a stain. They have something that you can look at and know it's their work, you know what I mean? And if it wasn't the design, then it was the colorway. If it wasn't the colorway, then it was the cut, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was something that I wanted to be a part of, just because I was a part of the streetwear scene just as much as I was a part of the sneaker scene, just as much as I was a part of the music scene, you know what I mean?
Only because it's illustrated am I going to answer this during this pod.
I wanted to infiltrate all of those. What up, Ella?
It's pod day, bro. You know better. What's happening? Yeah, we actually interviewing Chop, man.
What up? How you, man?
Draft here.
Hey, man. Good to hear
thank you for interrupting my podcast. We're actually recording right now, Illa, so thank you.
I was actually calling you to tell you y'all killing this podcast.
Hey, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
honestly.
Yeah, no problem, man. Likewise, we in good company.
Y'all get through it.
We will, man. I'm gonna hit you back.
Hey, man.
All right. Yeah, man. Illustrate.
Love the Illa.
Yeah, shout out.
I wanted to talk about something more abstract, just because I haven't gotten a real breakdown on it, and I think other people should know. Let's talk about 528 hertz and what it means as far as your branding or the ideal you have as far as music is concerned.
528 hertz is the frequency of love, man. I actually got that bomb dropped on me from one of my brothers. He knows how much I deal with music and the fact that I love music and I fuck with it on every level, even like a molecular level, if you would, so to speak. Like everything about it gets to me, because I had a period of time in life where I would listen to projects, but the way I would premiere projects is I would take, acid, or I would be on shrooms, and I would just really try to feel what I was listening to. And a lot of the times, like, a lot of people would, criticize music from a place of being a critic and not just loving what they listening to, loving the essence of music in itself. And I felt like me getting that tattoo, which is actually like the branding that I have on my neck, and it's also like showed up on clothing or shoes that I've done, because like I said, I did embody it, I did take it on, but again, it's the frequency of love, and I wanted people to fall in love with music. I wanted people to just enjoy it again. I didn't want people to just look at it like it didn't break a top 100, it didn't become a #1 Billboard record. Like, no, man, fuck all that. Like, we love music, bro. I'm talking about like the bridges to the transitions to the small things that really nobody pays attention to on a level of whether or not it's a big record or not. But we just talking about being a fan of music again, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I wanted to bring that out in people. I wanted people to see that. I wanted people to embody that and feel that when they listen to me. Like, when you see me spin, I love this shit. When you see me dealing with music, I love this shit. So it just became a part of that. And like I said, I just fell in love with the idea of it and just the meaning of it. So I just, stamped it, and I put that as a part of my brand just as much as the color scheme was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, pink is also one of those colors that's really, pink and purple do have that soft energy. Like,
right.
like you got to dive into it. Don't nobody just like pink, bro. If you wearing a lot of pink, you love it.
Right, yeah. It's something you love, and like even to what my point with music is, I get the analytics part, and I'm really good at that too, but I'm just really good at filling out something and knowing where that record places, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Chopper's one of those people who name a record or an artist before anybody else is really jacking their shit, and he'll be like, yeah, this it. This the one. And we had many arguments about Thug early on.
Yeah.
Many an argument about Future songs. Like, it's been
Thug,
like that.
Shout out Future, shout out Punk, you know what I mean? I think what Thug is doing with that is phenomenal. Just embodying the whole pink theme and just going all out with it to promote the album, I think it's pretty cool. Fuck cancer, shout out to Boosie, and shit like that. But it was just an all over love essence, and it also was an ideal to me that dealing with everything going through life, going forward from the point that I recognize this and realize this, I wanted to deal with a lot of things with love more. I became a father, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. So you have to be a lot more delicate with what you dealing with than your hard critic self.
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm proud of you, bro.
And I'm a Virgo, so I'm very critical of everything around me and myself included, but just everything. But first and foremost, I want to be able to love it and appreciate it before I try to break it down and do anything else with it. And I feel like that was something that needed to be done with music, especially.
That's real. That's real, man. All right. So I guess we're gonna dive into this lightning round. We're gonna do a this or that type pod game.
Pause. Tag team back again. So,
Nah, nigga, kill me. You gotta hear this shit again?
Shout out to my niggas. They in like a YoPlay commercial or some shit, or car insurance.
Geico.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Geico, bro.
Yeah, it's Geico.
Can you dig it?
You talking about the sprinkles?
Yeah, still getting money, man.
Sprinkles.
Nah.
Them niggas was real dope boys, nigga.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah, man.
Documentary about them. Yeah, but we back once again, man. I said I wasn't gonna say that, but I keep saying it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, with Chop, we about to do this lightning round. It's called Washed or Washed Up, man. I just came up with that on the fly.
That's fine.
Yeah. But we're gonna get into it right now. So basically, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna ask you a question. You're gonna choose between one. If not, maybe you'll take a shot or something. But if not, be sober.
I don't gotta
Take a
explain
square.
these answers, do I?
Nah.
Okay.
Very quick. My first one is Old Ye versus New Ye.
I'm going New Year. Donda.
All right.
All right. All right. My turn. I'm going to say DJing rap shows or DJing booked events.
Both.
That shot ready, right?
I really can't say one over the other because I mean you get so much love in both of them, and then personal events come with a lot of benefits, and you know, rap events come with a lot of benefits, you know. But I personally would take food and free liquor over groupies any day.
Okay, no,
Which leads to my next question, since I got the first both.
Man, let me take the shot first.
All right, bro. Being a DJ, you know this culture is driven by your energy. Strippers or groupies?
Woo.
I'm gonna go with strippers, man. Just because they bring the energy. Groupies trying to suck the energy out of you. You know what I mean? Like groupies are like the after party. Strippers are the party. So I gotta go with the party.
We're bringing these nuanced answers, man.
All right, man.
Good job.
Pink or purple?
Go ahead, pour up, bro. Get that other one.
Both of them.
Don't drink with civil rights, man.
I got him.
You still alive and well, boy.
It's a
All right,
setup.
man. All right, so like since I guess I scored, so we're gonna run it back, make it take it, right?
Yeah, make it take it.
All right, we're gonna keep it Atlanta. So Future or Thug?
Nigga, goddamn.
It only gets worse.
Both of them, man.
All right, man. We gotta go get another bottle.
Y'all not gonna make me pick goddamn Future over Jeffrey, man. Like I love both of them guys equally. Shout out to Future, shout out to Jeff. That
All right.
Punk album is gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, make it take it. So I got one more. So vinyl or digital?
This is not a both of them. I'm gonna take vinyl over digital, man.
All right.
Just because it sounds better. You know, you got a lot crisper sound. With digital, you got so many different waves, and somebody might have edited that, and you know, it's too alterable.
Mm-hmm. I can give you that. All right, this is my turn. Streetwear or high fashion?
I'm gonna go with streetwear, man, just because streetwear influences high fashion at a very big level, even to this day. You know, so I think we make the grounds that they actually get the big bucks for.
Good fucking answer.
No, I ran out. Go ahead.
All right. Shrooms or acid?
I can actually answer that honestly. At this point, I would take shrooms over acid.
Same.
All right.
Same D's.
Now, young me would have told you acid all the way though. Like my mid 20s, early 20s, it was
Yeah,
all.
that's
all
how it
tabs,
was too. Well, now I'm like, I don't need all that. I
Yeah,
just
I think
need a little.
I hit my level. I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I took my last acid trip not too long ago.
How was that?
I feel like the
it was
acid tell
intense.
you. I feel
It was
like acid
intense.
tell
It was like,
you.
yeah,
when
go ahead,
you-
set me down.
Yeah.
I had that moment like,
It
you
was
don't need to do
intense.
this no more.
I took
You
4
done
tabs and just sat back and watched Fantastic Planet. I think we talked about it on a pod episode. It was one of those
Fact.
ways. Damn, it's 5:28. And God. But
See that, man.
yeah.
Gang
That being
shit,
said,
you know,
what have you
love.
been listening to?
I've been listening to a lot lately, man. I definitely dove into the new ESTG project.
There's a new one out?
Yeah,
ESTG.
he dropped
Alright,
one. I
check that
want to
shit
say
out.
about a month ago. Definitely been listening to that Vince Staples project. I love that shit.
Very
man.
good album.
Very good album. Of
Solid
course,
project.
Tyler the Creator called me if you get lost.
Fire project.
Yeah, the energy was amazing. Just watching the video on Lollapalooza, the shit on YouTube, bro.
His
went
show's
stupid,
been
man.
crazy. His show's been crazy.
He to me at this point is like literally maybe like a fidget level under Kanye, but he's right there with just the visuals and just the overall energy and performance. So I fuck with that real crazy. I've been listening to a lot of Nardo Wick. It's like a young rapper out of Jacksonville, Florida. Bro goes crazy. He's
You
a
put me
very-
on Auto Wick. Yeah, I've been listening to him too
very
lately.
good rapper, man. The bars are just as good as the gun show, man. It's just everything is important. What else? I would say I've also been listening to a lot of jazz, like not anybody in particular, but just letting it ride because I've been studying for school and things of that nature. So it outside of all of the turnt shit I've been listening to, it calms my mind. You know what I mean? Gets me back in a smooth groove, so to speak. Definitely a lot of Dirk. A lot of OTF, you know. Shout out them guys, man. They just been bringing a
Shout
very
out to Big
intense
Dirk.
energy, man. Yeah, shout out
Nigga
Big Dirk too,
now,
man. Yeah,
No more little Dirk.
yeah. And excuse me, Dirkio, Smirkio. You know what I mean? Like we got all the aliases. The Voice. We've been listening to the
that's
Voice.
the voice right
Voice.
there.
Voice of the
Yeah,
streets.
yeah. No more Lil Dirk, man. But
shout out
yeah,
Dirk.
a lot of that. Kodak Black, of course, he's been bringing the energy back.
One of my faves.
Yeah, senseless. I don't know if anybody has heard that record, but if you haven't, you should listen to that.
Really
man.
great record.
Really great record, man.
Speaking of dogs, shout out TikTok.
Shout out TikTok. Yeah. Thug is going crazy right now. Definitely been listening to, you know, Kanye West with Donda being on the horizon, man. Going to both of the listening shows, and in Atlanta, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium was an event, you know. So
Speaking of that, can we dive into that real quick?
yeah.
What are your more favorite songs that you heard thus far?
That I've heard thus far, I would say Junior, the joint with Playboy Cardi. I love the energy on that one. I just love the feel. Like it gives me that way too cold feel. Like you just when you listen to that, boy, you gotta be fresh, man. You gotta have your shit on because that's all they talk about.
You know,
on there.
you
Like,
know, boy.
Yeah, if you know, you know, and if you don't, you broke. Shout out Babyface Ray, man. Been listening to a lot of that too, but yeah, like I like Junior. I like Moon with Don Toliver, and I love the fact that they threw Cuddy on there and the choir, man. It's just it went from being like a cool interlude naked song to being like a full like ensemble. Like, yo, what the fuck?
All right, so what was the differences between the first listening and the second listening, in your opinion?
The first listening was more so like, hey, what do you guys think of this? You gonna walk around, I'm gonna walk around, I'm gonna show you my face, but what do you guys think of this? I wanna see our energy, I wanna see our response, and that's what it felt like. It felt like, to me, what Ye is doing with Donda feels like a live, worldwide, in studio session, except you don't have to go get the snacks for this nigga.
Yeah.
But you get to hear every piece, every mix. You hear it like he's hearing it for the first time. You know, it's like you're like Ye said, instead of him saying, hey, all y'all motherfuckers, y'all get a ticket, fly out here to motherfucking Wyoming and listening to this album. He said, no, I'm gonna come to y'all. And we gonna have the listening party in studio session together. So now,
because he kind of been preluding this idea with all the listenings he's done from Jackson Hole to the one he did at Madison Square Garden before when he was doing the Yeezy release. Like all of that has kind of been the precursor to this,
right? And I felt like that was just a difference in this approach to the album. And then I would say for the second listening party was, okay, y'all heard that? This is what I think is his best shit. And then, you know, you hear that. So, and I don't even think what we heard at the last one is going to be the finalized ideas, but I felt like the first session was, what do you guys think about it? And then the second one was, this is what I think is going to work. And the third one is going to be it's going to be a mix of both. So, you know, can't wait till that comes out. I'm not one of the people over anticipating it. I think, you know, when it drops, it's going to drop, and we're going to be ready when it's ready. But I love the jail song. Guess who's going to jail tonight? Or, you know,
Guess who's going to jail tonight?
Yeah, because I mean, like, with Hov, and I felt like that. Yeah, it was a moment. It was because seeing those guys go back and forth for the last 4 or 5 years has been like kind of tough, knowing that they were like as close as they were. It's like,
and that their music was at a high when they did Watch the Throne.
Right? and I've been one of the people like you know, hey man, Watch the Throne 2 is gonna happen. So to know that it's actually gonna happen now is like, yo, thumbs up, man. But even just hearing Jay's voice on that record when it got to his point was just like,
this is the highest level of LSG.
Yeah. And I actually love it's a song called Off the Grid with Playboy Cardi and Fabio Foreign.
Yeah, I saw Fabio on the track.
Fabio went crazy, man.
But I
had to give him his props for a lot of the shit that he's been doing after, you know, Pop passed. This is his moment, like, to step out and be his own person. He kind of can be the face
of drill.
How did you feel about that the Locks joint?
With like Jay Electronica and all that. Actually, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you didn't really get a good hear of it because people were so loud at the point. So it was like we were kind of drowning out some of the songs.
Have you went back to like the audio releases that people put out, like on YouTube?
Yeah. I only went to my favorites though. I didn't take time to go through the whole thing. I just kind of went and grabbed my favorites. No Child Left Behind being one of them with Vori and Ye, and that was the song that they had on the Beats radio or the Beats headphones advertisement with Sha'Carri Richardson and shit like that. So it was just a touching song to me, just because as much as Ye has transformed, like I wasn't really one of the people ridiculing him or chastising him when he went through his Christian phase. I was like, oh, I would like to hear it. You know what I mean? He grew up in that, so let's hear what his rendition of his music is. And coming out of that, but still keeping pieces of it, kind of like Ultra Light Beam or stuff like that. Like still hearing that in his music and him projecting it a certain way is just like, yo, I rock with this.
I don't want to make this a Ye cast. I'm about to have to talk about him again. But what else you been listening to or watching?
Watching, man. I haven't really been watching too much TV. I've been really like locked into my studies and just listening to music. I listened to the most current or the most recent Young Dolph project. It was like a PRE collective. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty cool, man. I could say that it was like probably about 30 tracks. You know what I'm saying? 30 tracks, but it was solid. Like Dolph definitely was, the man steering the car, but just the energy he has around him at this point in time, he's building a pretty good collective.
We'll end it like this because you're a DJ, Mr. Selector. What are the top 3 artists that are on your radar right now?
Top 3 artists that are on my radar right now.
That you like to spin.
That I like to spin. I would definitely say Tizo Touchdown. He has a song called Careful. I love that song.
That's the cat that's on the Tyler project?
Yeah. He's on
We gonna run it up.
Yeah. Very, very, very just creative dude.
Another
man.
artist that you put me on. I went back and did all this shit, man. Nigga, what's his campaign? Band of Mid?
Yeah.
Which is a great campaign, bro.
Right. Get rid of the mid, and he had another one just telling people yo, if you see trash in your hood, pick it up, get a bag, and just pick the trash up. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna hurt you, it ain't gonna kill you. Keep your neighborhood clean. As a person that loves to recycle, and I don't throw shit on the ground, I don't throw trash on the ground.
Yeah, I hate when
that.
people do
I
that.
hate that.
Bruh.
It just resonated with me. I can
That
understand how
shit
some
bothers me.
people ain't never gonna really get on that wave, but just
I had somebody
so
used to be
harshly.
around me for a while, and he'd get off on that. He'd just throw shit out the window randomly. I'm like, bruh, stop doing this shit, bruh. You the worst nigga in the world for this. But anyway, on that note, I guess we are washed, never washed up.
Washed, never washed up, man. I am Sean-Luc Picard.
Yes, sir.
And I am Drive, man. This was Chop Ross, man. We've been, your chop never slopped right now, man. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Welcome to the pink wave.
Welcome to the
Appreciate
pink
you, man.
wave, all
Thank
my
you.
purple people, man.
Shout out
Getting
to
it in.
404 Creators.
Shout out 404 Creators.
When you
Yes,
see
sir.
us, you see him.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
Gang shit.
Thank
We'll be
you,
back,
Chop
man.
Ross.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
thank you,
Nah,
thank you,
appreciate
thank you,
y'all,
thank
man,
you.
for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate y'all for having me.
Always, man.
Of course, man. You see the garments, man. We coming in here real fly,
Hey,
real
man.
It's the
drippy.
unreleased shit, boy. I gotta show you niggas.
It's the unreleased shit,
Pause.
man. Yeah. Pause, man. You know what I'm saying? We got the height of the wave, the formula for how you develop a wave, and the height and the peak. You know what I mean? We doing real scientific shit with
Yeah,
this
get
fly
it
shit.
online, man.
Yeah,
Don't
man.
even jock the style now.
Tap
nigga.
in, tap in,
Tap in, bro.
Tap in.
Hell yeah. We'll see you niggas later.
Signing off.
Stay black.
Yes, sir.